Hey everybody, Rance White, Lazy River Guitars here. Just wanted to do a little kind of little demonstration of how I get the wood from my Weissenborn. When I first started building Weissenborns, like 320 Weissenborns ago, I built one or two, and then I quickly realized that I was going to have to learn how to resaw, and I was going to have to buy a bigger bandsaw. And I was going to have to find some people that I trusted to buy my wood from. So I had to do all those things because nobody really sells Weissenborn sets. I sell sets sometimes. As you can see, this is a guitar template. And this is a Weissenborn. So this is 20 inches. And I need at least 32 to get Weissenborns out of. So, you know, one of the main things about getting wood for an instrument is you kind of have to trust the guy you're buying it from. Because, you know, if you just went on the internet and just bought a board from somebody, you don't know if it's been sitting in their garage, you know, in 80% humidity for 8 years, or if it's just been cut like 2 years ago and they're trying to sell it as air dried. So it took a little while to figure out how to get all that stuff, you know, together. So for mahogany, I've got there's a really good hardwood store near me. It's about 30 minutes away. And walnut also. They usually don't have a whole lot of walnut, but for mahogany, it's just great. I get to go and hand pick all my boards. I can just spend about an hour and a half or 2 hours in there with my templates and just pick out the best board and figure out how I can get the most sets or instruments out of that board without much waste. So I can take my template in, and you can see I've already kind of marked it up. I don't know if you can see it. You can see the figure in that board. It's just beautiful. It is really nice. Look at the figure in that. It's beautiful. It's just beautifully quarter sawn. Quarter sawn lumber, which is like if you can see the end of this board, you can see how the grain's going kind of perfectly up and down. So this board's going to make some excellent Weissenborns, and this is kind of the board style, or this is kind of like what I look for when I buy mahogany. You know, I can see and tell what I'm going to get before I buy it, and then you know I resaw it and put it into sets. What I mean by resawing is you take the board and you slice it this way, and you just slice slices off. With koa, I usually buy koa in sets because it's pretty expensive to buy in bulk. So there's Bruce at Notable Woods where I usually get my koa from, and he's a super guy to work with. Really knows koa. He's probably been working with koa for, I don't know, 40 years, just to guess. But yeah, so he can, you know, he knows how to dry it, and he knows how to cut it, and he's good at sending photos and stuff like that. So whenever I have a koa order, that's the guy I call, and usually he has something that works. But the reason why I'm doing this is I had a kind of a special order. A guy wanted to use myrtle, and he wanted 2 identical instruments out of, you know, which means they would be cut out of the same board. So I did quite a bit of internet searching, did a little bit of shopping, and a little bit of calling to some people, and I found this board of myrtle from Northwest Timber. I think they're in Oregon, maybe Washington State, but Northwest. I've never bought from them before, but once I called and talked to him, he knew this exact board. He knew how old it was, how long he'd had it. He knew, you know, what it was. It was kiln dried to 7%, and he'd had it on the lot for probably about 4 years of air drying. So I bought it. So it started out as about a 2-inch board, and you know, I took it on the bandsaw, and I just kind of sliced it out. It's just a beautiful board. I mean, it's just I've already resawn this, but I'll be plugging in a little video of how I resawed it. I kind of did this video thing a little bit backwards, but you can see it's just beautiful. Got a lot of nice color in it, a lot of striping. And if you can look over here on this side, it's got some beautiful curl in it. If you look in there, there's a bunch of curl in there. So it's going to be a beautiful instrument. You can see I got about, oh, I don't know how many cuts I did. I got 11, 12 pieces out of it. You know, when you book match them, like that'll be a top or a back. And then this will be a top or a back. And then the identical instrument, that'll be a top or a back. So yeah. So I've got enough to get the top and the back for 2 instruments and the sides for all of them out of this one board. So it'll be all from the same board and book matched and identical. So it's gonna be really neat. I don't think I've done 2 identical instruments before, but it was with Koa, and I didn't have the chance to get the board and cut it myself. So this is gonna be really cool. So yeah, so the boards come in and I take them to the bandsaw and I cut 1/8-inch slices off for the top and back plates. Usually what I do is I'll resaw it and then go straight to the thickness sander, whereas some people will resaw it thicker and then put it through the planer. But when you go through the planer, you have a real risk of tearing out and blowing the wood just totally apart. We'll go out and resaw this wood up, and then we'll talk about it some more. One thing about the bandsaw is I've been using this Highland woodworking slicing blade, and those things are amazing. They're just like, they're super thin, super strong, so you can really crank the tension up on them, and they don't wave or anything like that, and they're really, really super sharp. It just cuts through this stuff like butter. It's just so smooth and easy. They're great for slicing. A lot of times when I get it on my bandsaw, I kind of just leave it on there and cut whatever I'm cutting. It would be better if I would take it off and change it, but that's, I don't know, about an hour's worth of work. All right, so I'm stickering up these pieces that we just cut. And, you know, it's a good idea to sticker it up and let it sit for a week or so after you resaw it, just to see if there's any movement in the boards. You know, when you stack it up and kind of let it acclimate to your surroundings. Right now it's in my glue up room, which is usually always 45 to 50% humidity. It lets air kind of travel underneath it and above it, so you don't have any stagnant air. The wood's not stacked on top of each other, so it can gather and hold moisture. And I think this wood's going to be perfect. I honestly think I could probably start using it now. It's beautifully dried, and I can't wait to start making the Weissenborns out of it. I guess that's it for now. I'll probably get this stuff off the shelf in a week or so and start joining the backs and the tops and get the Weissenborns going. All right. Thanks for watching.